Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia. I am Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I am here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing well. How are you doing this morning?
Doing really well, really
Good.
well. And this is a different kind of pillow talk because we sometimes we do our pillow talks late at night, and people think we're weird. We'll get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and be talking till 5 a.m. But this one
It's
we
our crazy sleep schedule. Like we sleep at crazy times, so
you
we're
know
up at crazy times.
Well, you know what? I like it that way. I like living on your own schedule.
Well, now that the kids are back to school, we're kind of on a regular schedule.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Getting up at 6 in the morning. That's
Yes.
oh. Lily says I love y'all. Tell
Oh,
Lily we love her. Tell her
love Lily. Lily, we love you.
we love you too, Lily. Lily says we're a power couple. Do you feel like a power couple?
People say that, so I guess I have to like embrace it. I
Yeah.
guess I do.
I wonder what would be the actual definition of a power couple.
I don't know. We got to look it up.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not my intention of being a power couple. I'm just being. We're just being us. Just
Yeah,
being me.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I'm kind of yeah. I guess we're just here. We just
Hmm.
here, y'all. We just here. All right. So, anyway, um, okay, interesting. All right. So I'm looking at the question. So, by the way, we decided this morning that instead of having a specific agenda, we would just answer your questions. And so, if you put your question in the chat, and if you could, like, if you make it like one sentence, that'll let us like answer the because if it's too long, it's like I don't want to do all that reading this morning, but a short question we can answer pretty quickly. So one thing we did get one question on my Instagram. My Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. So I'm gonna pull that up. Give me a yes in the chat if you can still hear me. I'm actually looking at the Instagram. I saw a student or somebody put the question here. That's what always happens when I always say come to the YouTube channel. People will just put the question right where they see the promo.
Hmm.
So somebody said, "How long was your first date?"
Our first date.
Did we? I don't know if we really had like a first date,
You know what? I took you to the movies.
but
I
that
took
wasn't
you to
really a
the
date.
movies in college. We
You
went to,
took me. You took me to the movies. You took me to see Pulp Fiction because I tutored you.
yeah, but that was kind of a date. Well, it wasn't like a romantic date, but it was a date. We had fun together.
I had a good time.
We had popcorn.
Yeah, and Pulp Fiction was. And remember, Pulp Fiction was like a weird movie.
I had no idea what it was about. That's what I remember. I was like, what is this movie about? Like, I don't remember. And I remember sitting in the movie going, what is this? That movie was really
Yeah,
strange.
I remember that. Like, I remember. Distinctly remember like that point where Bruce Willis is getting raped. And you're like, what the hell is going? He's getting raped by the guy where he went to his gun shop to ask him for help. And
Was it Bruce Willis or was it that black guy?
He didn't get raped. They were
It was
gonna
the other guy.
they were already raping the black guy.
Oh gosh. See,
Remember
there
that?
we go. Putting it in the movies already.
Yeah, that blew my mind. I did not come into the theater expecting to see that.
Well, it was a well. Now that we know Quentin Tarantino, we know how he
He's
is
a
with his
weirdo, man.
movies.
Well, that's like that other George Clooney movie he did, From Dusk Till Dawn, where it's like a family on a vacation, and then suddenly they get kidnapped and hijacked, and the hijackers take them to Mexico, and they stop at a bar, and then everybody in the bar turns into vampires and starts eating people.
Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason he pulls it off in a way this to me is brilliant. Cinema brilliance to me.
I guess so. He's a weirdo, though. He's a weirdo.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
those weird people make great movies. Like there's a place. Like what I like about it is there's a place for weird people in the world, and sometimes
Mhm.
it's like their creativity. They're not like normal people,
Yeah, I can see that.
and so they, that's where they should be making Hollywood movies.
That makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay, so the next question is, you guys seem like a great couple. How do you meet nice people? Where do you go to meet nice people? What is your suggestion? I think
Meet
I know what
nice
you're gonna say.
people.
What would you say if, to somebody
What do you think
who's
I'm
looking
gonna
to meet a nice?
say?
I think you're gonna say, well, just let it happen, and at some point, it's gonna just
That
happen.
is not what I'm gonna say.
Okay, what are you gonna say?
No, for some reason we meet nice people all the time.
Mm,
Like we were down in Miami, everybody I met was like nice. People I gave my phone number to, people I want to hang out with.
mhm.
A lot of
They were
people in a
well,
lot of different
they were nice
cities.
people, but that don't mean they'll be nice to date.
Wait, how do you? What
I
do you
think that
think
they're
that's what
asking
they
about,
meant?
yeah, they're asking about dating.
Oh, I thought they were saying, how do you meet nice people? Like, we met a bunch of nice people last weekend.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, so maybe
if
I
I'm
misinterpreted.
looking for to meet a nice person I can go on a date with, that I can have a relationship with.
Oh, they're talking about dating somebody.
Yes.
Oh, the dating scene. Woo. Well,
Do you have any suggestions?
you just got to take it slow and get to know people. That's all I have to. That's really my advice for dating. Someone's interested in you. You're interested in someone. Take it slow, very slow. Don't jump in. Fools rush in.
Now that's a good answer. I
Yeah.
agree. I concur with that. Yeah, I think I found that taking my time helped me avoid many disasters.
Yes.
Because
Yes, it did.
I found that many ticking time bombs come in beautiful packages. And if you get, but you gotta wait. Like you don't know. Like you get the package at your door, and if you just rip it open, and it's got a bomb in it, it's gonna blow your face off. So you sit there and you put it and you isolate it in a room by itself, and you observe it. You call them the bomb squad. And that is so true. I mean, I just think about when I was single and I was trying to figure out what my next move was going to be relationship wise, because it changed based on what age I was. And I remember I would just meet these awesome women that were really pretty and smart, and I mean, like crazy people just know how to disguise themselves very well.
Well, that's the thing. You can't disguise yourself. You can't do it for a long time. Like,
Oh, eventually
you
it's
are
gonna
going
come
to
out.
come out.
Yes.
You cannot hide.
Yes, given enough time, the crazy always comes out.
It always comes out,
Oh my
Boyce.
God. Well, let me just say this too. I will say that it's not a coincidence that I didn't meet you at the club. I met you at the library. And we're both professors now, which means that they're right. We spent more time in the library than we spent in the club. And so I encourage people, meet people. I think a good way to meet people is to meet people doing things that you love, things that you value. That way you share the same values.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I met you on a Sunday in the library. But don't get it twisted. Saturday night, I probably was out kicking it.
That is so true.
So I lived my full life in college.
Yes, you did.
I was straight kicking it.
Yes, you did.
On the so I probably was like, Sunday, I better go to the library and study and start the week off right.
That's true.
That's probably what I was thinking.
Yeah, I want to be a smart woman. I didn't want no stupid girl. I don't want no girl that wants to get drunk and run to the club every other day and stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't have met you at the club.
Yeah, you wouldn't have. You don't go to the club.
I didn't. In college, I didn't want to. I wanted to build a future for myself. I was a grinder.
How was it? How was your experience when you went to the club with me in New York? We went to this club in New York called Nails. Called Nails. And I never forget, I was going and I called my cousin Jess and I said, we're going to New York. Where should we hang out? She said, oh, go to Nails. And I was like, okay, we're going to Nails. And we went. What was that like for you?
It was interesting because at that time we weren't dating. You were actually dating the guy you married, and we were friends. And I remember when we walked in the club, how those guys all reacted to you. Like I never really saw it. It was literally like Jesus walking in, partying the Red Sea.
That is so crazy.
And they just made like this line, and all these guys were trying to touch your arm. It was real weird. I was like, why I think because they were trying to grab you to pull you on the dance floor. And you just kind of, and I said, does this happen to you every time you go to the club? And you just sat there and you just were like, yeah.
I remember you asking me that, but I think I was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like, it was almost like I didn't believe you. Like, I just wanted to sit and hang out with you in the club.
Yeah.
We two nerds in the club.
That is so true. Yeah, you never noticed any of that, but I saw it. I noticed it. So that was interesting. And you had a lot of energy. Like you didn't.
Yeah.
You would. We drove all night long. Remember we were listening to Jay-Z, money, cash, hoes, money, cash, hoes. What money, cash, hoes, money, cash, hoes. Come on.
Oh my God,
cash, hoes, money, cash, hoes.
The song, we listened to that for some reason. That song was like a half hour long.
I know.
Everybody.
Doom.
That's what kept us up.
Oh, it was one of the best songs ever. I mean, we listened to that song like probably 10 times driving from Chicago to New York, and we drove all night long and hadn't had any sleep. And Alicia's like, this is, now mind you, we're like, I think I'm 29, she's 26, something like that. And she's like, let's go. She's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sleep 2 hours.
Yep.
And we're gonna and then we're gonna get up and we're gonna go to the club.
Yep.
And I did not believe you. I thought you were. I was like, no, she's just making this up. We've been up all night. She's gonna sleep for 8 hours.
No,
we're tired. You woke up 2 hours later and were like, y'all ready to go to the club?
That's right.
I was in the club ready to take a nap. I wanted to lay on the floor.
What are you talking about, Boyce? We are in the New York City. I was there for the first time. New York City is the type of city.
That was my first time too.
Was that your first time?
No, that was my second time.
What? Yep. I told myself that was our first time, but I guess it wasn't. But New York City is a place where you don't sleep. It's like you sit in the club sleepy, but you don't want to miss anything.
Oh, I love New York. New York is still, to this day, New York is still one of my favorite cities. I think Shanghai, London, New York, LA. LA was nice before they started shutting everything down because they think everybody going to die from COVID.
But you haven't been back since the pandemic, but it's not so bad.
Yeah, I can't wait to go back.
We went back. I went back without you, but it wasn't so bad. But
so we should be answering questions.
Oh, let's answer questions. We're going down memory lane.
I know. Wow, I didn't expect this. Okay, so here's a question. Robert Johnson says, "What are your zodiac signs?" We're both Geminis.
Well, we are both Geminis. So it's so funny because it's not two of us. It's four of us.
Yep. Four personalities.
So you don't care for zodiac so much, do you?
Something I don't care. I mean, I'm a mathematician. I kind of believe in stuff I can actually see. You know.
Oh, please, Boyce. You don't think the zodiacs mean something?
Nah. I mean, I'm not gonna say it doesn't.
You are a typical Gemini, by the way.
Am I?
Yes.
And I'm sure if I was a Cancer, I'd be a typical Cancer.
No, you are not a Cancer.
If I was a Capricorn, I'd be a typical Capricorn.
No, let me tell you, you were born on the cusp. So you were born on June 20th. If you were born on the 21st, we would never make it.
You don't think so?
Yes. So I'm so happy your mom had you on the 20th, not the 21st, because I think that may have put you into Cancer. Or maybe the 22nd is Cancer, and it just never would have worked out between us. I know it.
Okay.
No.
All right. So Michael Miller asked a financial question. He says, by the end of the year, where do you see Bitcoin? I see good tailwinds for Bitcoin. I mean, I think Bitcoin, I think right now it's about 46,000. It's pulled back a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin had a rally by the end of the year and crossed 60,000. I think Bitcoin's a great investment. I've been investing extensively in Bitcoin and Ethereum, so I do believe in Bitcoin. Let's see. Ben says, I'll read it, but then we're gonna give a quick answer. He says, why do you want black men to date mothers with children when it more often than not never works?
It doesn't work. I wonder where he came up with that.
Because he's listening to those idiots on the internet. He don't got his own opinion. You know, you got a lot of guys.
He's one of those like puppet people who just repeat what other people say.
Yeah.
And don't come up with his own conclusion. You know what? It's so weird. You know, I've talked about that already. I think the people who push against all of those things, that's what they're going to fall right into. So good luck with your future woman,
your baby mama,
with her kids.
Isn't that funny how God will always give you the one thing you always swore you would always avoid?
That's right. So you don't push against anything. You just live.
Like
you just accept and embrace it all.
Like if you make fun of disabled people, God will give you a disabled child. I believe that.
Let me tell you, 1 out of 3. Here's the numbers. 1 out of 3 people are disabled at some point.
Wow.
So think about 3 people in your head. One of them is going to end up disabled in some capacity, because a lot of disabilities are invisible.
Well, let's be fair to Ben's question though, because he's still here. I thought he was just going to drop a stink bomb and walk out, but he says he feels like we're shaming him. So no. So here's the deal. I'm not shaming anybody for doing what they want to do, at all. I think you should do what works best for you, but I don't think you should sort women out into 2 categories and say, okay, the quality women have no kids and women who have children are automatically low quality. I think that's a very bad one-dimensional way to define people. I think that there are a lot of variables that come to play. And personally, I really enjoyed marrying a woman that had children because now I don't have to go and make babies at the age of 50 and change diapers. I don't want to do all that.
You don't want to have a baby with me, Boyce?
Yeah, no, I do not want another.
You don't want no babies?
I do not want an 18-year sentence with a child. Like, seriously, I don't.
Babies are wonderful.
No, they are wonderful. Don't get me wrong, they are wonderful. But our youngest is 11, which means we got 7 years till we packing her shit and she's going off to college.
Oh, she's going too.
Yes, and that to me is cool. Like, but I think black children are awesome. Like
really black children. Okay.
Yes. Remember I used to be a track coach. So I loved mentoring those kids. I love getting online. Why do you think I get on the internet? I don't get on the internet because I need the money. I get on the internet because I love talking to anybody that can benefit from something I might share with them that might make their life better.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love engaging. Like I love, like if a young, and it comes just from being a kid. I remember being a kid and wishing older people would give me advice, would show, teach me stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't, my dad was busy. He was working a lot. My mother, she was doing her best, but she was real young, and I wished I had like every now and then the older person would sit down and explain things to me and tell me about life and help me with my homework. And it made me feel so loved.
So you were kind of attention starved a little bit, do you
Possibly,
think?
possibly.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and so you like identify because you had that experience, you're sensitive to it, and so you identify that in potential other people, and you try to work out. Like,
yeah. Like think about it like this. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I cut you off? I'm sorry. Go
you
ahead.
did come.
Oh, my bad.
And what happens is that you try to work out what you didn't get, and then when you get older, you try to work it out, and you see someone who could be attention starved, and you say, you know what, I'm going to give them what I wish I had had.
Yeah. Like I feel like a lot of our children feel neglected in a bit. Think about this. In fact, it's kind of crazy. A lot of the guys who say, "Oh, I would never date a woman with children," their mother raised them without their father. A lot of these guys, and so they went through that pain, that sadness of not getting the attention they deserved. And I think that it could be a self-esteem issue. It's like, why would I, waste my time with a child that's not mine, when nobody did that for me.
So you had two parents and you were attention starved.
Well, yeah.
You had two parents in the house. But I mean, what I'm saying is that I'm pointing that out because I think that we need to move away from this deterministic thinking based on your family structure, and we need to get more to what type of love and attention did you get. I think that might be like the activating ingredient in terms of what makes a child whole and what makes a child feel loved and accepted. And it's the people that's around that child that's paying attention to that child. And although family structure is always important, it's not the only important thing. It's the environment, it's the home environment that that with data has told us, that really, really pans out to be wonderful.
Yeah, but I do believe all kids need a daddy.
Yeah, they do have daddies.
Yeah, if I don't.
They need moms, they need dads, but more than anything, they need a mom and dad who loves them. Who shows them.
Well, I was saying my parents loved me. They just were young. My parents were in their 20s. Like they were figuring life out. They did a better job with my baby brother than they did with me. 12 because they had time to. Sometimes with the first kid, you don't do everything perfect, and then you learn. So, long story short, though, here's my point.
But you still deserved. You did not get what you deserved.
I did, but it ain't really about me, in my view. It's about the fact that I took a setback, and that God put in my life, and He put that setback in my life so I could identify with those damaged children who don't get the support and love that they deserve. I like that about me. Right.
Yeah,
like if I had grown up getting all the attention I wanted, maybe I would have been a brat who would say, screw these kids. I don't care about these damn kids. I like being a sensitive person for those children because I think Black children matter a lot, and it doesn't matter to me if I was your daddy or not. Like if I talk to you and you are a child in my community, I am a protector of the Black community. I love that role, which means that in those 5 minutes that I'm talking to you, I'm your daddy for those 5 minutes. I might not never see you again, but for those 5 minutes, if you're a Black child in my community, I'm gonna be your dad. If you need some food, I'm gonna feed you. If you need some uplifting words, I'm gonna give them to you. If you need advice, I'm gonna give you that advice because I want you to succeed and I want you to feel loved.
Okay, so I heard you say that in some ways you were happy that you didn't get what you needed because you see the world differently now. You're more sensitive to other people because of something that you did not get. I'm just trying to like rephrase kind of what you were saying, and I think that's honorable. I think that's really great. But at the same time, I just want to say that growing up in a family environment that was very nurturing and you got the attention that you needed, that is that makes you feel worthy it does a really good job with your self-worth. So, just keep that in mind, that, sometimes you can have that identification with other people that can be overly identified. So you're doing some of those things, because of you, and it could be beneficial to the other person, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I agree. I think I know where it came from, but I think overall, because remember, I didn't have a daddy, and I think I would have been very hurt if I met a man I looked up to who said, "Well, I ain't your goddamn daddy. I don't care nothing about your little ass," like, because as a child, my father, well, I did. I mean, I had a father that stepped in for the father who wasn't there. Both of my fathers struggled with drugs. One of them was man enough one of them chose to walk away. The other one didn't. My biological father went to jail for drugs. He, and all this other stuff. Whereas my dad had a heroin addiction, and he just walked away from it. And part of the reason, he told me this years later,
it was easy
he said,
for him. I just want to make I do want to hear what you have to say about that, but I just want to say it's easy to walk away from the heroin addiction because he had that when he was in the war. And so when you change your environment like that, it becomes much more easier, to walk away from and say, hey, I'm back here in the United States and I got my family I need to take care of.
Right.
So it's just the circumstances are different. But finish what you were going to say.
Right. So either way though, he walked away from it, because there's a lot of guys who came back from the war,
walk away,
who didn't. Right. So one of the things he told me was, you were the reason why I knew I didn't want that life. And here's a man who wasn't my biological father, who told me, I changed my whole life because of you. And so while I certainly can't say I had a perfect childhood, that made me feel very special. It's like, wow, here's this man who sacrificed his whole life for me, and so when I get online and I hear a bunch of dudes say, man, fuck those kids. Ain't nobody trying to go date these single moms with kids. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying the people don't have a right to do what they want to do, but I would say, like, why would you go out of your way to talk about what you're against? Like, why don't you talk about, just talk about something more positive?
We know that when people make statements like that they're not coming from a good place themselves, and they probably had very terrible experiences. So it'd be really nice to hear some of those experiences, because I'm sure it's been less than ideal, because there's some ratchet stuff happening out there. So everybody's right.
Yeah.
Everybody's right.
Yeah. I definitely don't think. I mean, I didn't. I mean, I'd never. No matter how many women I met, when the more famous you get, the more women you meet. I never looked at them and said, "Oh, if you got kids, then that automatically means you're not qualified." Because believe me, I met a lot of ratchet, ridiculous women.
Single women, yes,
with
no children. Yeah, they can be. There's a reason, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes.
Oh yeah, sometimes
really good reason.
Yeah, sometimes the reason that you ain't got no kids is because ain't nobody wanted to get you pregnant because you fucking horrible. Yeah. So anyway, let's see here. Somebody says, need to know. Thank you for your donation.
We got
TR166.
Thank you.
$5. So I'm gonna use that to take you to breakfast.
Yes.
Need to know if you trust the crypto guy you gave me. What crypto guy did I give you? If you see anybody in the chat that looks like me, that's recommending you make an investment or saying, hey, I'll meet you in your inbox or WhatsApp me, that's not me. That's a scammer. Okay. So do not respond to messages like that and report that person to Facebook, please. So no, there is no, or YouTube. I think there's scammers on YouTube and Facebook. It comes with the territory. The more out there you get, the more you have people that will literally steal your identity. So do not respond to that. I'll send you emails. If there's something that I want to mention to you, I'll send you an email. We do have a Black Crypto Club, by the way. That's theblackcryptoclub.com. I'll put the URL on the screen. But no, if somebody was messaging you and telling you, don't do that. And the reason I stopped, I need to stop to make sure everybody knows that, is because I did hear about a couple of students that lost like thousands.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, because somebody pretended to be me and messaged them and said, hey, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Why don't you get on the phone with me, or not get on the phone, or let's talk on WhatsApp. I don't do stuff like that. I get followed by a little over 1 million people on YouTube alone. I don't have time to chat with people directly in the inboxes about investment. Like, I don't do that. So,
well, That's 2 questions about crypto. Are you going to talk about crypto at the convention? I think I heard.
Yeah. The All Black National Convention. We are going to have some crypto. The Black Crypto Club's going to meet actually, and we're going to have some other stuff going on. So, by the way, the convention is at the end of October. It's in Orlando, and I hope you'll show up live because that's the best way to go to all the sessions and to meet everybody and stuff like that. Yeah, TR166 says, damn, he used your photo. Yeah, and I got a phone number. It was probably a WhatsApp number, which means it's probably a scammer overseas. So do not fall for that. Please. I'm gonna start mentioning that more regularly so that that doesn't nobody gets hurt by that. Let's see here. Brian Norfleet, why do you think Africa is always getting taken for their money and land? Because Africa is in kind of a tough economic situation. And the Chinese, the way they do business is different from the Americans. The Americans will offer you money, but then they'll say, oh, well, we need you to change your policy on gay people if you want our money, right? Or whatever, right? Whereas the Chinese are like, we don't give a shit.
We don't care about human rights.
Right. Well, the Chinese are like, look, that's your house, man. I respect that man, his ability to do what he want to do in his house. That's kind of how I was raised too. Like, it's not my business. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you're like molesting your kids,
I'm not gonna work with somebody that's like torturing their people.
Yeah, but
then I'm gonna sit down at a table with you and come up with the agreement. Like, that's the social worker in me.
Yeah, but America throws itself into this stupid double standard. When you start running around like you got some moral high ground over the world, you end up looking hypocritical because then they're like, well, look at how you're treating your white people. Look at the stuff. Look at what you're doing. Look at the fiascos that happen in your country. You're trying to tell us, how to live our lives. I think getting in that business of self-righteousness is not good business at all. So anyway, let me see here. Miss Jennifer says, what are some networking activities for single, older, 40 to 60 professional women with no children? Networking activity. Do you have any suggestions?
Do you have some suggestions? Well, the convention, we do have a networking event. Come to the convention.
Well, you are doing networking and speed dating.
We're doing networking and speed dating. And I know in some capacity, we could do something like that online as well. We have tested out.
Well, we got to find somebody.
I think it'd be great to have
implement all that.
Okay, so you're thinking administratively, somebody's got to do this.
I don't.
I think it'd be wonderful.
I think it's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, when I see a whole new project, I immediately start to feel anxiety in my body.
I know you do,
because I know how much work it takes. A lot of people that have never really built anything don't know the difference between a good idea and an idea that's been fully implemented and has been executed. We wanted to build an app 5 years ago, and and we hired engineers to build this app. And it cost us $2,000 a month. And we worked on this damn thing for a year. So we gave them $100,000. And these sons of bitches still didn't get the app working properly. Now you got software out here where you can make apps really easily. At that time, that wasn't the case. And I just remember being so angry and saying, why is it that I'm giving you all this money and this damn thing ain't working? Because they would send it over. They'd be like, here's a prototype. Test it out.
I remember that.
Oh, I wanted to beat somebody's butt. I mean, it just made me so angry. So I'm not against it. I just think it's a matter of figuring out exactly how to lay it out there. But I would almost say, I'm thinking like just from the perspective as a man.
I would love to do something like that, by the way.
What?
Like dating.
What?
Like B1 dating or something. That would be like a dream come true to me, honestly.
Okay, let's talk to your business coach. Linnea is your business coach. Tell her your
extraordinaire.
Tell Linnea your idea, and she can help you implement it.
Oh goodness! Now I'm like, that's a lot, but it's so like just to sit back and to watch people come together and to like, and my show, Married at First Sight. I watched it last night. It was so great.
Which is a crazy show.
I love the show though. I know it's crazy.
People getting married that don't even know each other, and then they all get divorced at the end.
They do, but it's the experience that they go through that's just like so great to watch.
I think
it is making a mockery of marriage.
Yeah, that's really your shit. That's not my. Because I watch it, I'm like, why in the hell would you marry somebody you just met 30 seconds ago? That makes no sense. I think it disrespects the sanctity and the seriousness of it.
It absolutely does. But it is such a great show, and the personalities of the people that they pick out to be on that show they're just spot on. and I just love the diversity of the people this season. I am just so enjoying I'm enjoying it. And let me tell you, I would talking about loving. I would love to be an expert on one of those shows. It would just be that would be another dream
write
come
that
true.
down. Maybe we can. Now, I mean, we're getting a house in Atlanta. We're going to start shooting more studio-based TV show type stuff.
Create our own.
Yeah, like we go to Atlanta. We talk to Jay and at the Black House. He's got a studio. Rick Mathis is down there.
Goodness.
Madam President's down there. There's a lot of really great people that we can work with to create a show like that.
Oh, stop it. You're making me go. Yeah. That is like.
Well, then let's close the deal on the house in Atlanta. Let's go ahead and make it happen. So one other thing about networking, Miss Jennifer, that I would say is, I think that one lost art that people don't talk about enough anymore is, when you're talking about trying to meet the person or meet somebody that really works for you, I feel like nowadays it seems like a lot of dating is done where people carry a lot of ego into their situations to the point where they kind of feel like I believe it's a fantasy to really feel like somebody's going to just accept you and want to be with you and want to love you exactly the way you are. Right. Like, now don't get me wrong. There's somebody for everybody. There's always somebody for everybody. But I don't believe you can show up at your worst and think that you're going to get somebody who's going to treat you the same as if you showed up at your best. I think that undermines personal accountability. And what do I mean by that? Well, I do think an obese woman is going to have fewer options than a woman who's not obese. Now, the obese,
they're going to have
mind you, hold on. I know you're going to jump in, but
they're going to have different options.
Right, different options, but I believe fewer. I believe fewer. I believe that if you put 1,000 men and they all vote, like, which woman do you want? You want the woman who takes care of her body, or you want the woman who doesn't respect her body, who just will eat any junk food and is sloppy and whatever. Well, men are going to want the woman who respects her body. Same way with women. Women are going to want a man who takes care of his life. Like, I was raised to understand that top-notch women are not going to want to be with me by me just being exactly what I want to be all the time. Think about it. If I didn't, let's say I gained 80 pounds, I threw all my money away at the casino instead of investing it. I was mean to women. I would just bark. If I got pissed at you, I cussed you out on the spot. I don't think that makes me a lesser man than what I am now. I'd married a gorgeous, wonderful woman who had a million options. And so I knew I had to be my best. Like, I can't treat you any old kind of way and think you're going to just want to be with me, no matter how I'm behaving. I can't look any old kind of way. And don't get me wrong. You loved me when I was chubby. But I think that if I had just insisted on eating pizza and chocolate cake and I got up to 400 pounds, there might be a point where you might say, Boyce, I love you, but I don't know if I'm as attracted to you as I was when you had the beach body, right? And I think that we lie to people about that. Like, we make people think, and I really feel honestly like they do it more to women than to men. But then again, that's a debate. But I really think there's something to be said about setting a goal and morphing some part of yourself to fit that goal within boundaries, within reach, right? So it's like getting a job. Like, if I'm going to get a certain job, I'm going to get certain skills. I'm going to learn about the company. I'm going to dress a certain way. I'm going to present myself a certain way. I'm not going to just walk in and put my feet on the desk and walk in a pair of boxer shorts and a wife beater and be like, well, what's up, motherfucker? Y'all going to give me the job or what? I can have the same credentials, but how I present myself is going to make a big difference in whether I get the job.
Yeah, to meet somebody, I think it's tough right now because people are so isolated. It's not like you feel safe going out at any place. I mean, it's about to get cold outside. I know in Chicago here, people were doing rooftop parties and ways to get to know other people, but it's really difficult right now. And so people can do online dating and different forms of dating. But one good way of meeting people, I think, is to pay attention to what you're interested in. So, like, I like to go running. A great way to meet people is to go on races. Go to races and meet like-minded people like yourself, who enjoys running, if that's what you enjoy.
Right. Yeah, I think that doing what you love is a good thing, right? I think if you have something that you both enjoy, that works. And really, if you meet runners, that's good. You're not gonna meet a lot of fat people that way.
Well, it's different types of running bodies that you'll see out there, but it's still fun. It's still you. I'm just using it as an example. It's not like running is like what everybody should be doing. No, if you're biking, or if you want to be active, or painting, poetry. Like, I know people who just do like a poetry class online, and it's a great way to get yourself out there and to just meet people who are interested in some of the things that you're interested in. I think that's important.
Yeah. I would just say, as a man, when I met different women, I appreciated women who respected me enough to, to really, like, I really just think that this whole idea that somebody's just gonna want you exactly the way you are, I think you're missing opportunities when you do that. Like, that's a fantasy.
Wait, so I think that's what I was just saying, though. I was saying, if you're the kind of person that likes to go biking, if you're the kind of person that likes to do creative writing, if you're the kind of person, so the thing is to find yourself and do all those activities that you yourself enjoy doing, and your mate is sitting right there. That's how I see it.
Now, I do agree. I do agree with that, but I also think
a potential mate.
I also think adjusting to people that you want to be with, is doable.
That's interesting.
Because I know getting married, I had to adjust to marriage. I did not live the life of a married man.
No,
so
you didn't.
I could not come into marriage with the old Boyce. I had to allow myself to be open to find another version of me that would be more conducive to the traditional construct of marriage.
Well, I think the idea is that it still has to be. So you are Boyce now. You are a husband. You are a husband. So now you are developing your husband's self. Your husband's self is developed. So the thing is that as that develops, it still has to be closely tied to who you are as a person. You're just developing yourself, because we all have our different selves. Like, when I'm at work, so I'm a college professor. So when I'm in a college professor role, I am the professor, Dr. Alicia self in that space. When I'm meeting with clients, it's that therapist self that's been developed. When I am with you as a wife, I have a different side to me, when we're doing pillow talk, and when we're together, that's Alicia as a wife. When I'm a mother, it's a different side of me that's developed. But the key is that all those different aspects of yourself has to be really closely related to who you are as a person. And if you don't, that's when psychological issues start happening.
Yeah, I can see that. I can agree with that. I just really think, like, I've seen as a man, I've seen women that can't keep a man and think that it's because there's something wrong with men.
Okay, so it's never something wrong with everything else. Really, if you find that you can't keep a man, typically you need to look at yourself. You need to look at yourself and try to find out, okay, what is it about me? That's what I would do. If I couldn't keep a man, I would say, oh goodness, what is it about me that's not keeping a man, that's having failed relationships over and over again? What are the common themes? Would you say?
Yeah, like, when I wanted to figure out how to attract the women I wanted and how to keep them, you know what I did? I read a book about women, and I looked at there were some things that women expected where I was like, I'm never going to do that. That's not of interest to me. But there were some things women expect on average based on this book, which was based on studies of thousands of women, where I was like, okay, I could do that. Okay, I can adjust to that. Right. And I don't see a lot of people talking about all the areas where they would adjust. I hear people talking about all their deal breakers and all the areas where they won't adjust. And I think if you go into it with a mindset saying, I'm not adjusting to this, I ain't adjusting to that, I ain't adjusting to that, and if you don't like me exactly the way I am, the way I'm keeping it real, then I ain't gonna want to be with you. And I don't know. That's just not a healthy approach, in my opinion. If you're trying to, I've always thought of it honestly like a sales process. If you're trying to sell something to a customer, you figure out what the customer wants within reason. Like, if they say, well, I want the product for free, well, then you say, I'm sorry, we can't give you the product for free. But we can, but ma'am, I can, if you want me to have it hand delivered to your house to make the sale, I can do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think what you're talking about is being rigid and not being able to compromise and not being able to make any sort of adjustment. No one wants to be with a hard ass. They just don't want to, they don't want to listen, because what it is you're dismissing what another person needs. Yet at the same time, you do need to kind of decide, okay, these are some core values about me that I'm never changing. Like, I am some things that you are as a core person, core values. Like, this is something that's really near and dear to my heart. I can't be flexible on this. So, I mean, I still think relationships can last, even though you have some core issues that you can't change. But there's a lot of other things that you can be more flexible on. That's not like so-called a deal breaker, because it's okay to have deal breakers. A deal breaker is, everybody comes up with their own deal breaker. But if you're in a relationship with someone and they meet face to face with your core issues, and it's like, oh, this is a deal breaker, the relationship still can last, because you can still have a conversation about that. You can still talk about, okay, what is it about that that's a core to you? Tell the story about where that came from. Where did that come? How'd you come to that? Why is that important to you? And you tell that story, and you can get to know somebody better in that conversation. So I don't know. I kind of always feel like it can last.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can. I think that, like I found that there's a lot of value in simply not being an asshole. Like when I would meet a woman I wanted to connect to, because I dated before you. That we had a life.
You had a life before me, Boyce?
Yes, I did. Yes,
what?
I did.
I just thought you were just waiting on the sideline, waiting for me.
Right. No. So seriously, like what I did was, I don't think a lot of people do this. Is I would listen to her. I would figure out, what does she want? Like, what does she need? What's going to make her happy? And I don't care who you are. I believe that if you know how to make somebody happy, they're going to want to be around you. People want to be around people that make them happy, not people who give them shit all the time, or who are selfish. Nobody. I don't know about everybody else, but I don't like being around a self-absorbed person. It's like, but if you understand me and you're like, hey, Boyce, how can I make you happy? Can I rub your feet? Can I listen to you for a while? Like whatever, like that to me is like, oh, I want to be around the person that makes me happy. I don't want to be around the person that is always sort of telling me what they ain't gonna do and all this other stuff. That ain't fun. So anyway, let me keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
Now Jessica's asking, how old do you have to be for the A, B, and C? You have to be 0 years old. So if you are negative 1 years old, you are too young to come to the All Black National Convention.
Well, you can come in your mom's stomach.
Right. Oh, there we go.
Or your dad's stomach.
There you go. So you can even come to the convention. There will be unborn babies at the convention. So yeah, we are going to have pregnant women at the convention. So if you could be up to negative 9 months old and come to the convention. And then again, though, maybe there's some babies that are even younger than that out there. Like, so we're always thinking about the future. And so if you want to learn more about the convention, see in the end of October in Orlando, you can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. Angie Angel says, I bought a virtual ticket for the conference. Good. Well, I can't wait to see you there.
We'd like to see you in person, but we kind of understand.
Well, being there in person is definitely more beneficial, because there's no replacement for like direct human interaction. Right. Like the ability to really, the number one thing you get from the convention, in my view, is the ability to connect with other like-minded Black people, kind of in a world where I feel like we live in a world that's kind of gone crazy. Like we have a lot of ignorance out here. We have a lot of, stupidity that we're expected to respect, just because everybody else is doing it. And I like the fact that it's like an oasis. Like you're in a space where you're talking to Black people that have some goddamn sense, who really care about the community, who want to build, who are on code, who want to build family. The men there, like I always tell women, like, look, if you're looking, the young women that are looking for quality men, I always say, come to the convention.
Oh, yes.
Because the men that, it's not easy to be a man that rocks with me, because I've had a lot of men unfollow me because I've called them out on their bullshit. I've said, no, you can't treat women this kind of way and act like that's okay. So the men that still hang out are typically men that are solid guys. Like, a lot of military men, that take care of their families, that are mature, that don't follow the crowd, that are intelligent, that are building wealth, that are doing the right things, that, invest in their children and love the hell out of Black women. Like, those are the types of guys that gravitate toward me. But guys like, I don't know, like Future, the rapper Future, got 18 babies, mamas, and financial problems that are on the way, and disrespecting women and disrespecting kids. Like guys like that, they end up getting mad at me. And I don't care, because I think that you can't build a community if you have flimsy ass, weak ass, pathetic ass men.
Yeah.
So those guys need to step up. If you don't step up, then step out.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be refreshing to people. They come to the convention and start like having those informal conversations and connections with other people. It's going to be refreshing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. Let's see. The Wolf says, "How can you make a wife respect you even if you're a WOTK man?" What's a WOT? I don't know what that means.
I don't know, but I like the question. How can you make that's interesting. How can you make your wife respect you? Like, I'm gonna make you respect me.
Respect me, woman.
There's something
You better
to
respect
that.
me.
There's something to that statement. Just like, I'm gonna make you respect me. Like,
it's like the song. Remember the song? No, 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 no way. I'm living without you. You gonna love me.
You know,
I'm staying. I don't wanna be free. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna find you and cut your throat if you try to leave this. Sorry.
I do not know a man alive that likes that song. And for some reason, I love that song.
It's a beautiful song, but it's tragically scary. If any woman ever sang a song like that to me, I would run.
There was a guy in high school where a lady sang that song. And she turned to him, because I went to performing arts high school. She had one of the best voices in the school, but she was in love with this guy. And I don't know. I think their relationship was rocky. It had to have been rocky. And she got up there and sang it just like Jennifer Holliday bolted out that song. And he was sitting in the audience, and we all knew who she was singing to. And we're looking at him, and he looked like he was so embarrassed. Men hate that song. Men hate it for the same reason women probably hate men who say, I'm gonna make you respect me. Like, it ain't gonna work. Just the question alone tells me it's problems.
Yeah. If you ever get to the point where you gotta sing that song, like, stop singing and just walk away.
Okay,
like,
so
you should not have to force somebody to love you. Like, like that work on your self-esteem. But then I really think like I've seen situations like that where somebody's like, you're not leaving, like, I'm staying, I don't want to be free, whatever. Like, that's some stalker shit. Like, that's not healthy.
Okay, so ladies, if you ever had to sing that to a man, please hit me up on Instagram and reach out to me. And fellas, if you have that question, how am I gonna make my wife respect me? Fill out my intake form. I would love to talk to you a little more about that. So that's my shameless plug. But it's not that. It's just that I think that those conversations need to be had, and I need to like unpack that. It's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. That's
how do I make my wife respect me?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Okay, so Michael Moore says, how many hours a week do you work? Also with learning new material. I don't know, Michael. I don't really keep track of the number of hours I work. I just go with the flow. Like this morning, we decided to stay in the bed. So, but technically, you could say we're working because we're making content as part of like what we do with our business. But...
Okay, y'all don't know. Let me tell you about Boyce. Let me tell you about my husband here.
Tell me about Boyce.
Boyce, you are working all the time, by the way. And I think it's very delightful. I love it. You are always learning new things. Like, you're learning something new right now. I think the fact that you're always working and the fact that you are always learning new things, it is what is going to keep you young. You're going to live forever, Boyce, because of that. Like, it keeps you young. It keeps you fresh. Never ever sit at a point where you just like watching TV all day and not producing and not doing something. So you're so closely tied. Like, what you do is so closely tied to who you are as a person. I know it doesn't feel like work, but you're working 24 hours a day, just about.
Well,
even in your sleep, Boyce.
Well, Lamar Tyler, who's a great friend of mine in Atlanta, another person in Atlanta.
Yes.
We'll be hanging out with more when we get down there. Lamar used to say, you shouldn't think about work-life balance. It should be work-life blend.
Oh, yes.
And I agree. I mean, I haven't had a job in 20 years.
Yes.
I love what I do, and it's really fun. And so, like, last night we did the whole lecture in the book club on Black labor, white wealth. And I mean, I got done. I was like a pastor. I was sweating when I got done. I mean, I was breaking it down.
You had a rag? Were you wiping the sweat off your brow?
Yeah. I was like, and then Jesus said to Moses,
You were bringing it, Boyce,
give me
weren't
back
you?
my car. And yeah,
You were having fun.
oh, and I had a blast because I really this is meaningful. Like this is like what's gonna make our community great again. Like I really believe Black people, B1 people, I think we're gonna be so great, and I'm so excited about it. And it's like so I see it as family. Like I see that whole community is like family. Like I'm talking to my relatives.
Make Black community great again.
Yeah,
make Black people great again.
yeah,
I like
because we
that.
used to be great. You know, we were great in ancient Africa and Kemet and Kush and
Yes.
all the empires, and we are the originators of everything special in the world. So yeah, absolutely. All right, next question. Angie Angel's asking, what about offering speed dating online? Oh, we talked about that earlier. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So looks like a lot of people like the speed
Loving
dating idea. Is speed dating online offered at the conference? No, Angie, I don't think we know. I mean, just offering it in person is going to be a lot of work. But you know what? I'm going to bring that up. Let's bring that up to Lene. Let's bring it up to the team and say, okay, we're going to hand this project to somebody. Let's see if they can implement it in a way that isn't overwhelming. Because I think and she's on to something. That's a good thought. I'm going to dig into that.
I'm loving all of it. I'm smiling because I'm just loving all the whole thing.
Okay, well, if it makes my wife happy too, then we're going to do it. How can you make your wife respect you even if you're working? I think women, I don't know, ladies, give me a yes or no. I think women respect a man who works hard. What do you think?
Yeah, again, it's that, how do you make your wife respect you? I think it's the phrasing of that. It's the that gets me. You have to make your wife. I mean, I think it's good to influence your wife. It's good to have a conversation with them about why it's important that you need to have your time to yourself to do this work. It's letting your wife know what's going on with you. You know what it is? If you feel like that, there's a loss of connection there somewhere. It's because your wife should know that that's important for you. Your wife should know that. You should be so connected to your wife that she's like, oh yeah, you got to get that project done. I know that's important to you. Please get it done. I know it's important for the family. It's not like having a conversation. So yeah, I mean, it's I sense that there's issues there. Make your wife respect you. Like, I don't think your wife knows enough about what's going on in your life to be able to totally understand that you need this time to work, and that it's not offensive to her necessarily. It's just saying, I need this moment so I can do this for the family. And a good teammate is going to understand that. We're a team together.
I find a good therapist can help with that too, because I know that a therapist can help your partner. Sometimes people hear things better when it comes from somebody other than you. So when a therapist that you both respect steps in and says, you need to listen to him on this, it might make the person more likely to stop and say, okay, well, let me listen. Right. And I find that that's a side benefit about therapy people don't know, is that it's like that person, when you have that new person that comes in that is respected by both parties, that mediates the relationship, that person can use that authority to help you overcome differences that you might not be able to overcome otherwise.
And to realize that you're both really are on the same thing. You both want the same things for the family. You just had two different ways of going about it. So why is it a conflict? It should be you and your teammate working together, coming up with all different ideas to solve the issue at hand.
Yeah. But I think generally, now that I'm thinking about it, most disputes can benefit from a strong mediator. Period. Like that's why the big mama is so important, and the granddaddy.
Yes, I love big mama.
Or the
big
granddaddy, or the strong father. Yes. In the house is important, because if two siblings are fighting, that fight could go on forever if neither person wants to relent, because there's no credibility. Like if the other side says, well, you need to stop doing this, and you're like, well, you're only saying that because you're pursuing your own interests, right? If an outside observer that you both respect steps in and says, no, you sit down, let's talk this out, you're more likely to work that out. Like, so, in fact, actually, and I don't want to dwell on this too much at all, because I don't think this is important, but I want to have an honest example that I'm thinking about this. When things got really weird with me and Kwame Brown, You know, we have a lot of friends in common, you know, and a lot of people said, you know, well, why doesn't Judge Joe Brown intervene? And because Judge Joe Brown is the guy that we both respect, who has the authority to say, stop it. Like, just stop it. Right. And I would have welcomed that. I'll be like, look, you know, because I just stopped. I eventually just said, I'm not going to keep responding to this because this is crazy, you know, and I don't want to, you know, have the whole community have two 40-something-year-old black men acting ridiculous online. So I said what I had to say and I walked away from it. I said, I don't care if he makes 8 million videos. I'm not going to reply to anything because I don't want this to continue because this is bad for the community, right? And, you know, but I think if a Judge Joe Brown stepped in, you would have like a little bit of like the Farrakhan effect. Like Farrakhan, for example, he could have kept Biggie and Pac alive. He could have been the guy, you know, that if they both sat down with him, he could have got them to shake hands and make up and move on with their lives. So you need that authority figure. So that's one little side benefit of therapy that I think people don't know is you got to ask yourself, who's the arbitrator? Who's the mediator? You know?
Yeah, I think in black families, traditionally, it is the woman. It's the black woman. It's the black mother that is the one that steps in and holds it together for everybody. Like the black mother, big mama, or the black mom in the family, they are the people who are they take on everybody's issues in the family. So if Johnny's going through problems, the big mama is going to absorb all of that and worry about it. Okay. And it's everybody in the family. They take that on and they are the glue that holds everything together, that keeps everything at peace. That's why when big mama passes away, all hell breaks loose. The families tear apart when big mama goes away because she was the one that was actually keeping everybody connected and keeping everybody in communication with each other and mediating issues. So when that mediator goes away, it's so funny. You go to a funeral and you're like, okay, here it is. The fallout starts. And that's when it all just kind of just melts away.
And let me propose this though.
Yeah.
I don't think it all should fall on Big Mama.
It shouldn't.
Right? Like, and I think that this this goes back from slavery. Last night when we were reading Dr. Claude Anderson's book, he literally talked about that. How, you know, the white man positioned the black woman in an overpowering role on the plantation, where so the men kind of were trained to stand down. And the women were the ones who had the connect. They were the ones who could get close to master. They were the ones who kind of, you know. So I think that Big Mama and Big Daddy should be doing that together.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You know, so we know what Big Mama does. We know how important that role is. But I'm sorry, I know, you know, my testicles are firmly attached to my body, and I am not interested in sitting here watching chaos happen in my family where I'm not going to be involved with mediating that stuff.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying is so important because a lot of black fathers say, you know what? I'm going to put food on the table. I'm going to put a shirt on your back. You're going to live in a house, a roof over your head, and they totally check out. They sit down, they say all that emotion stuff, all that feelings and stuff like that. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I'm watching the football game. Leave me alone. And so that is a perfect example of where, no, the dad needs to step in and start getting in connection with. And so in order to connect with other people's emotions, you got to connect with your own feelings. And so I think a lot of black men need to start doing that a little more and stop checking out.
I think we should learn how to connect with our feelings. I think there's a benefit to that. But also one thing that women can learn from men is that sometimes you don't need to be connected with your feelings. Sometimes you need to get.
How so do you need to never be connected?
If you're in a situation, like if you're a war, if you're a soldier and you're at war,
okay,
you can't.
We're not in Afghanistan.
No, we're not in Afghanistan. But some of our communities get like Afghanistan. You know, where sometimes sometimes emotions can make a situation worse because it can create a lot of unnecessary chaos and volatility. So I think that it doesn't mean that it's always the case. Yeah, I do. I think
I have a response to that, but go ahead.
Like in a corporate setting, when you're trying to get some shit done, you know, sometimes it's like, okay, I know your feelings, thank you, but we're not here to just talk all day about how we feel. We got to make a decision. We got to execute. So I think that that's where that masculine energy can be beneficial because, you know, sometimes you don't need to just have everybody be all emotion.
Yeah. So when you're saying emotion, you're talking about chaos emotion. I think that what's important, what I do as a therapist, is I try to order this emotion together. I try to say, okay, it's so what you're saying is like emotions running high, and everybody's feeling all sorts of things, and it's just a very chaotic situation. So for that, I think that's what you're commenting on, and I agree with that. But I think that you do need a mediator or someone in there looking at these emotions and ordering them in a way where it's just like, okay, so your emotions is tied to this because you think this certain way and this is what's happening with you. So you still need, emotions are still important. They just need to be contained. They need to be regulated. I think that's the key. It's regulating emotions, because when they start going crazy, the family just falls apart. So I see what you mean, but what I'm talking about when I say emotion, I'm saying emotions are important, always important, okay, but they just need to be regulated in a way that is respectful, of course.
Okay. All right, so next question, Brian Norfleet's question changes tune just a little bit. He says, what's one lesson Black people can learn from China? Chinese are good at business and growing their economy. I will answer that question quickly, and Alicia, you can add if you'd like. The Chinese are very, very big on thinking in terms of groups, and they also are very good at making long-term plans, and they're also very good at prioritizing their own community. So the Chinese actually practice the B1 philosophy already. And what I mean by that is people who tend to have power and wealth tend to be people who think big, who think broad, they think long term, and also they think in a way where they're bringing their resources and their energy, emotionally, financially, and otherwise, back home. So the Chinese are very big on not allowing other countries to drain their most intelligent people. They encourage them to come back to China. They are very big on not letting other companies come in, other companies from other countries come in and take their money. Whereas in the Black community, you see where anybody and everybody comes and sets up businesses in Black neighborhoods, and it becomes a financial drain. Also, the Chinese are big on groupthink. So in the United States, we tend to celebrate individual attention, right? People saying, some rappers saying, look at me, look at how great I am. I'm so fly. I'm so amazing. I'm so much better than you. Whereas in China, that's shunned. They shame you for that. They're kind of like, why are you thinking that your own happiness and who you are matters more than the group? So they're big on groupthink, for good or bad. And they're really connected to groups. Like, they stay on code. If you go to the basketball court in China, I remember I went to the basketball court and people wouldn't play with me because I wasn't part of anybody's group. They didn't know me, and that I didn't realize until that moment why it was so important. When one of my Chinese students, I taught a class in China. In case you don't know, one of my students had invited me to play basketball with him and his friends, and I was like, "Oh yeah, well, okay, no problem. I'll see you at the court." I didn't understand. I needed an invitation.
Yeah, you didn't get invited.
Yeah, like they rolling cliques, they rolling gangs.
I don't know you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't care what sport you're playing, the team is always gonna beat the individual. If I got a gang of 20 people, we're gonna be smarter than you. We're gonna be harder working than you. We're gonna be more prepared than you because we got 20, you got one. And in America, we got the opposite. We got people like, well, I'm gonna do me, I'm gonna do mine, I'm gonna cut people off, I'm gonna be a single day, I'm gonna be a player for life, or I'm a single mom and I don't need no man, and I don't need no group, and I'm cutting it. Well, you can't compete because economics is a team sport.
Yeah, well, people who say stuff like that, they're hurting.
Yeah.
When I hear people say that, I see someone who got injured in some way, emotionally injured. But let me tell you what I noticed in China that I thought was like something I think America needs to take on. We went to the parks. We went to the parks in China. I think Beijing and where else was it? Shanghai and no, it wasn't Shanghai. It was Beijing and um Xi'an. I think that's where it was. And I noticed that all the parks had a lot of the elderly people in the parks playing games. And one thing I noticed was that they were with their grandchildren. Oh my gosh. So they were interacting with their grandchildren, and I noticed that, of course, as a social worker, like, this is phenomenal to have somebody retire and not just sit isolated somewhere. And she told me, our tour guide mentioned to me that the parks are free for retired individuals. So China's the place where they tell you when to retire. Like, you don't get to decide when to retire. You retire now. But they at least give you an oasis to go to, those beautiful gardens, those beautiful, they were playing those little games on the little tables. So, I mean, that's keeping their mind fresh. You saw a lot of grandparents with their little babies and little grandchildren running around. Like, how great is that? You don't want to drop your baby off at some daycare because your old mama is still working to keep a job. You know, you really want your grandparents to take care of the grandchildren because you can trust that much better than having some system, you know, take care of them. So I saw that and I just thought it was really beautiful, that giving back and that respect for the elderly and knowing that you're useful. Even at that age, you're useful. You can fill up these parks. You can keep your mind active. They looked really happy. They looked like they were in these great conversations, and the children were there to hear all of these wise people speaking. So that is I don't know if that answers Northfleet's question, but that was what I noticed.
To me, what I'm hearing with what you just said is that family is important.
Yeah.
And so when they wanted to destroy Black people, they destroyed the family.
They tore all that apart.
Yeah. And that's why you see Black people struggling, because you're scrambling individually and you can't win. It's hard to win in America if you're not part of a group. So the question is, who is your group? Who is your family? If you don't have a family, create one, start one, connect with people, be an asset in the lives of others so that they'll be an asset in yours. Yvonne is asking, what's a good course in the Black Business School for beginners? Well, I do have a stock market investing class. It's very popular. We have a lot of students there. They love it. There's a money back guarantee and a 30-day trial. So the URL's on the screen. It's the blackstockmarketprogram.com. You guys actually have the ability to leave me questions about stocks, and I answer all those questions every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Also, I give you a list of all the stocks that I like that week that I'm buying. And also there's a ton of curricula and lectures and just so much stuff. Literally, it would take you 20 years to get through all the material. But so a lifetime membership is available as well if you just want to get in there and just go through everything over the next 10 years or 20 years or whatever, because there's that much stuff. So it's that good. All right. So IGM McCrae says, what are your views on Thomas Sowell, the conservative academic, regarding cultural pathologies? I don't
care for him so much.
Well, you know what I do? I listen to people. I listen to all ideas, liberal and conservative. So, I think there's great ideas in Marxism, great ideas with capitalism.
Was he the one that did the Earth is flat or something?
Flat Earth Society?
Not flat Earth, but something is flat. I can't remember.
Oh, I don't.
I think that was the name of his book. Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Okay. Yeah, I like to hear everybody's ideas, and I think that he is right, though, that there are cultural pathologies, that a lot of them came from slavery and oppression that we have to address, and they do hold us back. But at the end of the day, you can't let white people off the hook either. But at the same time, you can't let Black people off the hook in terms of our responsibility to improve our community. Let's see here. Insidious Purple says, Dr. Alicia, a lot of YouTubers say you only married Dr. Boyce because of, and then there's nothing else. I think maybe because of money. Did you marry me for my money, babe? Is that what you did? You trying to get me for my ends?
I'm trying to get you for your papers.
You try to get me for my paper?
Well, we're married now, so give me your papers. I'm gonna stick you for your papers.
Well, we did a prenup, and I didn't marry a broke woman. I'll just say that this lady is always taking care of herself financially. So no, she did not marry me for my papers. Anybody who speculated on our marriage on the internet, they're speculating literally off nothingness.
Absolutely nothing.
I guess we just
wait. I thought you were freeloading off of me. I thought that was the rumor on the internet.
That was a rumor.
What made it change all of a sudden?
Somebody said, Boyce is really broke. He's just sitting in his wife's basement, or his girlfriend's. At the time, you were my girlfriend.
Yeah,
in his girlfriend's basement making videos.
I was like, how'd you know? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, the internet is full of a lot of people. I think that. They're just, it's just like you just try to find stuff to talk about. So, so you can get views on your YouTube channel. And if you don't have any information, because we don't know these people, we've never told them anything about our relationship, then you just make something up and people believe it because it was said on the internet.
I just think, what? I think it's so flattering. It's flattering to me. I'm like, whoa, what are they saying now?
It comes with the territory. It does. People are going to talk about you, and I guess the worst thing. I mean, if you're building a brand, the worst thing that can happen to you is when no one's talking about you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so that means we're interesting people, Boyce.
I guess so. I don't know. Jay-Z and Beyonce, like they handle it real well. Like right now, everyone's dissing, like dogging Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Oh, what happened? Oh, because of the necklace?
Yeah, that Tiffany's ad where they took the picture
rocked
with
it
that
on that necklace. Though.
She did, but it was a blood diamond. They're saying it was a blood diamond, but as if Beyonce,
most diamonds are blood diamonds.
As if she's supposed to know, right?
Oh, like, please, come on,
right? As if it's her fault. But yeah, they've been dragging them, but they're kind of cool about it. They just don't even respond. They're like,
I'm
whatever.
glad.
Yeah, they're like, you'll move on. Eventually, you'll find something else that'll grab your attention.
I do want to say something about Jay-Z's hair. I just don't get it.
Oh, that hair is crazy.
It's so chaotic. What is he doing?
I think that hairstyle is called, what the fuck is that?
What? I just, I know it just he needs to reconsider that. That'd be the only thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure Beyonce has got to be like, okay, Jay-Z. What does she call him? Probably Jay.
Yeah.
What's his name? I don't know what his government name is, but she's got
Sean Carter.
Sean. She's got to say, look, Sean, when you gonna let this go? When you gonna let this?
Well, and the interesting thing is he's 50, right? 52, 51.
It doesn't look the best on him.
Yeah, like I wouldn't have worn that when I was 22, but at 52. I think it's but I think that with them entertainment, it's so tough because you always have to look hip and cool and relevant.
You got to change your look every once in a while. So
yeah.
So well, once it gets boring, he'll just move to something else, I guess.
Yeah. Every time Beyonce comes out with a new album, it's always a new look, a new sound, a new everything. It's got to be new. And
I like that though.
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, they're the best at it. They're the best at it. But all good things eventually come to an end, and and you're wondering how long are they going to be the best at it? I don't know.
Well, you know what? As long as you keep growing and evolving, they always going to be on top. That's what's up.
Well, you know what? Shout out to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yes.
They and I think that they understand strategically, for them how family and marriage was beneficial for them to take everything to the next level. Oh. Now, this doesn't say you should only get married for that reason, but if you look at the way they did it, or even Kanye and Kim.
Wait, are they back together? Because I really like for them to be back together.
Yeah, well, I wish them the best.
You got 4 children. I just think that being apart like that, like from what my understanding is that they just weren't physically together. Like if they just stop it and just be together, they could rekindle their love for each other, I think.
Yeah, well, God bless them. You know. Let me see here. Okay, so Tweety says, I agree with Boyce, but I think Alicia's missing the point he's trying to make.
Which is what?
I don't know. I think that was a part of a conversation we were having earlier.
So that's an old conversation.
Yeah. DeWolf says, I asked the question I meant to say, give instead of make. Oh, I'm sorry, DeWolf.
How do you give your wife respect?
All right. No,
wait, is that different?
No, that's a different question. So let's keep going. Let's see. Ali says, you'll compliment each other. Beautiful. Henderson Baller says, do you guys still live in Chicago? We live near Chicago. Not in Chicago.
We live in the suburbs.
Yeah, Goodness Rated Bowl says Dr. Boyce is sounding a little arrogant. To be humble and great is the key. You're right. I probably do. I probably sound arrogant sometimes. That's so true. I mean, it's like, well, here's the thing though. I do think very highly of what we're able to do, collectively. I'm very, and the thing is, I don't think there's anything wrong with that because I think that all of us can be great. Like I want everybody in here to see their greatness, and I want to encourage you on that. So there's nothing wrong with saying, yeah, I think I can be a great man. I think I can make Black history, as long as I'm supporting you in your quest to be as great as you can be. I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm saying that we can all be great together. And I am also saying that I think as men, there are times we got to just draw the line in the sand and say, some of this, like, I don't do niggatry. I'm not interested in the niggernet. The niggerosity, that does not appeal to me. Like, I don't want to see, I'm not going to sign off on things that are stupid, that are self-destructive, that are getting our children killed, that are getting our young kids hooked on drugs, that are throwing away Black wealth, that are promoting ignorance over education. Why in the world does being humble mean I have to think that stuff's okay? No, it's not okay. And y'all know it's not okay. And I'm just asking everybody else who agrees with me, speak the fuck up. Like, stop being scared of these people. Tell your truth. You ain't got to fit in. You ain't got to make them fit in with you. You ain't got to fit in with them.
I mean, the thing is, don't fit in with anybody. Just do your thing. Just do your thing, and the rest of the stuff I don't even see half the stuff.
Boom. Oh, Insidious Purple says, Dr. Alicia, other YouTubers say you only married Boyce when other options weren't available. Your thoughts as a last resort claims. Now, I don't know if he's asking this question to be serious or not serious, but so what happened? You had no options,
I had no options.
And suddenly you decided that you wanted to marry me because I had money and I just saved you on an oasis of loneliness.
Wait, that's not what he said. You adding that in there?
No, I'm accentuating the rumor to just kind of make it more interesting. So I guess let me.
I don't really have like the thing is that I don't see that either. Like I don't have a response to that. So what? So you think that? So what? Like I'm not gonna defend myself from those types of rumors. That's just not something that I just want to participate in because I know why I married you. You know why we got married to each other. You asked me, I didn't ask you to marry me.
I got on one knee. I was,
asked me.
That was when I got accused of simping. Yeah, I was like, shit. I will get on my knee. If a quality black woman steps in your life, get on your knee for that woman. If you feel inspired, God told me this is a woman that you got to give her that honor and that respect. And I have no regrets about any of that. Like that was exactly what I wanted.
It's so funny because I was like, because you've always been my really favorite buddy, and I really loved hanging out with you. So it's just like awesome for us to like hang out with each other more and all of that. And then we started dating, and I remember going like, why are these people walking up to you knowing you? Like, who are these strangers that are walking up to you knowing who you are? Like, what do you do for a living?
Dr. Boyce, can I get a picture? And
I had no idea.
Why do these people want to take pictures with you? And I thought that was so funny. You were you had no idea.
And I said, poor thing. Boyce, I was like, oh, poor Boyce. do I need to loan you some money? Because you look so good. I'm just going to tell you, like, my experience with you when we first started dating, like, I thought you were kind of pitiful. And I know that you probably weren't. I know you felt that you weren't. But that is my God honest truth. I remember talking to my mom and I said, oh, God, I hung out with Boyce today. It was cold outside. His coat had a hole in it. Your coat had a hole in it, Boyce.
I don't remember that hole.
You had an Ohio State. Who remembers the Ohio State
that
coat?
Was my favorite jacket.
It was your favorite jacket. I didn't know. I just was like, poor thing needs a coat. It's cold outside. I remember like buying you stuff, feeling like you.
I think that's so funny. I think that's hilarious.
It's funny.
Yeah, because I was making like way more than enough money. Like I was making lots of money, but I just never felt the need to dress flashy or have flashy stuff.
But like, there was stuff going on. Like I don't want to go into a bunch of details.
The crack in my cell phone screen.
Your cell phone screen looked like you had been fighting a bear and lost. And I said, poor thing, don't have enough money to get his phone fixed.
Right.
You just didn't have time.
I didn't have the time.
Yeah. And so like that part I didn't know. And then we became Facebook friends. Remember, we weren't even Facebook friends because my old Facebook account, I couldn't get into it because I was trying to get tenure. I wasn't on. And that's the thing, like my whole life was spent at this university. My university, raising kids and trying to get tenure and trying to get promoted and trying to deal with my day-to-day life as a college professor. So I was not on social media. And it was just interesting because after we started dating, I became your Facebook friend. And I was like, good grief, Boyce, what's happening here? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe all the stuff
I thought that was
that I had seen. And
funny.
I always admired you, but I admired you even more because of the work that you've done.
Yeah. I thought, it was a path that we didn't expect. I thought you'd be just married forever and stuff like that. But we've always been buddies. And I think that forming a relationship on a foundation of friendship is really something I would advise other people to consider because, even when we're mad at each other in the relationship, even when you're mad at your husband, you can still come talk to your friend.
Yeah, but you're just so, even when like, I guess I do get mad at you sometimes. I do. I ain't gonna lie. I get mad at you sometimes. You're so adorable to me, though.
Oh, well, I
I
think you're
do. Do
adorable
you
too.
mind me saying that?
No.
Adorable. It
No,
just
I
sounds
think
like a little. You'd say to a little baby, but I don't see you as a baby, of course. But
yeah, I think that yeah, and so I would say that anybody that ever speculates on our relationship, I would encourage them to just focus on what you got going on, man. You're really talking about stuff you don't know anything about, and also the way you process relationships in your 40s is different from the way you see things in your 20s and 30s. So like a 28-year-old can't even understand why I make the choices that I make. Like I talked to my son last night, and he's 28, and we just have different views. And he tells me about his thing he's got going on with whatever, with women or whatever. And I'll be like, yeah, when I was 28, that was how I kind of saw stuff. And now I'm not 28 anymore. So I have different preferences and different things that I want in my life. Like I don't want 80,000 women chasing me because that's stress. I like one good woman that's gonna make me a steak and sit and watch TV with me and go travel with me around the world and live a quality life. Like that's what matters. But maybe when I was 28, I wanted something different. So I just really I hope that guys that don't understand our relationship, that care enough to even talk about it, would just kind of just realize, that things change, when you get to a certain, so you ain't gonna at 30, you're not really always gonna understand why a 50-year-old man made a certain choice. It's just, I'm not your peer. I'm an
but there's
elder
a lot of people
to
that
some extent.
do get it. A
Yeah,
lot
a
of
lot of
people
people
get
do
it.
get it, right. But I mean, no, but really, like, if you're 30, I'm not your peer. Maybe I'm your OG, maybe I'm Uncle Boyce, maybe I'm a father figure, but I'm not your peer, man. I ain't trying to do the shit that I did when I was 30. That's not interesting to me anymore. I did all that. That was fun. So anyway, Uduak says he made a donation, so I gotta read this. He says, "Hello, sir and madam. I am one of your biggest fans in South Africa.
Yes.
Following your free financial advice over the years, I have been able to pay off my mortgage in the U.S. and South Africa."
That's what's up.
That's what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
I love that.
I love to hear about a black person getting money. A black man or black woman
Get
getting
it
money makes
going.
me extremely, extremely happy. So
I mean, he
congratulations.
did that just on your free stuff, boys. He didn't even
Yeah,
reach in his pocket and pay for stuff, but he made a donation today. So
he got $10 worth of
$10. We should go
attention. I
after
appreciate it.
breakfast.
Yeah, well now we got $15, so I think we can go and eat our pancakes now. So now we got money to eat. Since the internet thinks I'm broke, I'm gonna let them keep thinking I'm broke. I like when people think I'm broke
Well,
because
I'm just after you for your
that means
50.
people
I'm after you for your $15, boys, and
that
give it up.
you wanna jack me for my paper.
Yeah,
That's
I
what they
need
want.
breakfast. I
They
need somebody to pay for my
all
breakfast.
y'all gold diggers. That's all y'all want is money. Good lord.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, let's see here. Nadiza says, I'm 22 and I'm just thinking about how the speed dating would be. Okay, good for you. All right, everybody, we're gonna go. We're about to go eat breakfast. So,
Yeah, I didn't worked up an appetite.
yeah.
Hmm.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me. Del Monte Green says, "Why is it so one-sided when it comes to women? Why do I gotta be Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, and James Bond all at the same time?"
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. So,
Mm.
gee, one-sided. So he's feeling like he has to show and prove all the time, and the women don't have to do anything.
I think there's
That's
I
not
think
a
there's
good
pressure on
situation.
men and women.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think everybody has pressure. Um, I wouldn't overthink it, man. Like I would say it's like you got to start by looking at yourself in terms of what types of women you're even going after and that you are considering to be worth your time. Like if you feel like women are chicken heads and crazy, maybe you're chasing the chicken heads. Like maybe you're not processing the deficiency properly. Like it's like if every day I get up and I eat candy bars for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then I have like a vitamin D deficiency, I might be like, why is there not enough vitamin D in food? And it's like, no, because you're eating candy bars every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have a vitamin D deficiency. So I would really say, to the brother, like, I get it, man. Like, I understand the frustration. Like, I think that men trying to understand women is hard, and I think women trying to understand men is hard. And for me, I didn't overthink it. You know what I did? I'm gonna give y'all. In about 1 minute, I'm gonna do my closing little thought,
Okay,
and then you can do
please.
yours.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I did when I wanted to understand women better. You know what I did? There was a book called "What Women Want Men to Know" by Dr. Barbara DeAngelis. I read that book, and I'm a thinker. I'm a student. So I said, if I want some whatever I wanted in life, I studied it. So when I wanted to find the right type of relationship, right type of woman, I just would read about it. So I read this book, and it told me all about women and how they think and what they want and how they operate. And I said, okay, if I want women to do something for me, then I have to do something for them. And I have to, which means understand what they value. I don't care what it is. If you give somebody what they value, they're gonna give you what you value. I believe that, and I know that you think of things in a different way, but I believe I'm an economist. I'm an economist. When you go into the mall, if you want the $1,000 outfit, you better bring $1,000. You can't come in there with $8 talking about I want the $1,000 Armani suit. It ain't gonna work, right? So once I read that book and I understood women, I learned, how they think and what they value and what they're looking for. I began to say, okay, what parts of me can I work on to prepare myself so that when I meet the right woman, I wasn't going to use my best on any woman, right? But I said, when I meet that right woman, I really want that woman more than anything. I want to be ready. So that might mean like thinking about things like, okay, what can I do? Well, if my physical appearance is good, then that gives me a check mark. If I am a good communicator and I know how to listen and communicate well, women like men who talk. A lot of men don't talk. So I'm a talker. I'm a communicator. I'm a smart guy. So I can give you lots and lots of stimulating conversation for hours. That's going to be one of my assets. A lot of women like financial security. Not that they're all gold diggers, but women get real nervous when your money ain't right. I'm sorry. I've studied this enough to believe that when there's financial insecurity, women start to get shaky. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna make as much money as possible so that then the ball's in my court. Then at that point, I'll have the options that I want. And I literally prepare for the dating market the same way I prepare for the job market. And in both cases, it worked like a charm. When I had my shit right and I had my shit together and I showed up on top of my game, I had no shortage of women who were like, oh my God, there are so few men out here like you. And I was like, I know that because I've studied this shit. I've studied the crappy men, the opportunities that men miss because they're too self-absorbed. And I've also studied the things that women want. And what that meant was that it didn't mean I was supposed to go date every woman I met. I didn't do that. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want a bunch of women in my life. But it meant that when I met the right ones, the ones I was interested in dating, I had something to bring to the table.
That's interesting that you said you studied women and then you just kind of like became what you think that women wanted. I think that was interesting.
It wasn't about becoming that. It was about working on those parts of myself that, like, yeah, losing weight. This is I'm not faking it when I lose weight. I really wanted to, get in shape or making money. I didn't just do it for women. I did it because I want to have money. But women like money. If you are a guy that can see, because that's the thing. Why do you think a lot of men complain about gold diggers or stress out over, like I ain't taking care of nobody else's kids. I ain't gonna buy your son no Happy Meal. Happy Meal's is $7. I ain't buying no Happy Meal. Well, it's because they struggling financially. So when I had enough money,
well, it's not that. I didn't think that they were struggling financially. I think they just didn't want to be taken advantage of. Well, you can have that. And so I think the thing is where I want to get into is self-worth. No matter how much money is in your banking account, no matter what you do in trying to do these things to get another person for the sole purpose of getting somebody else, to date, it's the self-worth saying, I'm good enough. I'm good enough with my flaws. I'm good enough with my strengths. I'm good enough no matter what. I am a good enough person and I don't need to do these things or embody some of these other things in order to find another mate.
But you're not the same. But you're not the same when you're slacking as you are when you're on top of your shit.
Yeah, because we all have...
I think that I agree with you. I think inherently every human being is infinitely valuable because you're human and human life is worth everything. But you can but I'm sorry, a man who is throwing away his money, who's infected with STDs, who beats women, who engages in a lot of debaucherous behavior, is not as worthy as a man who has lived with intelligence, integrity, discipline, hard work, and put himself together. So I think that what you do also matters as much as what you are.
It should be closely tied to that. And I think everybody's worthy. So I think that people who are mean to other people, I see very hurt people. I really do. I see people who deep down inside really desire those connections with other people. And sometimes they do things that they probably shouldn't do for other people because they're working out some of their own little things. And they deep down inside really want to have that sort of connection. They just have poor boundaries. They have poor boundaries and they have a lot of insecurities that they need to catch up on. But the thing is that when you know that you're good enough, when you know that you are worthy, you understand that you're not valuable because of what I can do for you. Like, you're not going to say I could do XYZ things for you because that is what makes me valuable. I think that is what I'm just trying to
I do
talk
agree.
about. It's just when you can be the best that you can be, just becoming that way and knowing that you have that sort of worth. It's what you put your emphasis on. It's what you put.
I agree, but dating. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're gonna say.
I agree, but I think at the same time, dating is a market, and when you meet somebody, they got options. And if you're not stepping up to the plate and doing your best to be the best you can be, like if you're deciding I'm going to ignore you, I'm not. And it ain't just about money and material shit. It's about literally, am I really doing my best to be the best partner I can be for you? If I'm not doing that, then I can't be pissed off because everybody's walking away from me. I see a lot of people that complain, like I see men that complain about women because women are walking away from them because those women have better options. And the question I would ask that guy is, are you stepping forward and being the best man you can be? So that the options lean in your favor.
But
like if you're applying for 50 jobs and you're not getting any jobs, you can complain all day. Well, it's racism and these companies don't want to hire nobody. No, maybe they're hiring workers with better credentials that work harder than you.
Well, let me just say something to you, Boyce. I mean, I absolutely love you. I love you.
I love you too.
The fact me loving you is not contingent on anything else. It's just how I feel about you. And so it is not contingent on what you can do for me. It's not contingent on that. So if something happens, God forbid, we're a team together. As long as we're together and we're connected and we have that sort of love we demonstrate that sort of love and respect for each other. Like, that's important. I have that sort of self-worth for myself because I think that's what I deserve. And you have that for yourself. And so we have that for each other. And so money is going to come and go. Things are going to come and go. Your weight is going to go up and down. Your looks are you're going to look good in that suit. And then I see you after we go running and we all looking kind of messy. My love for you is not contingent on the ups and downs of things. It's going to be ups and downs anyway.
Well,
and so I just want to say that because I don't want, people to get the impression that you're only worth what the amount of money that's in your checking account, that is where you put your worth in. So I just want to make that
remember
statement.
This too, though, that there's a difference between attracting a mate who is considering other options versus maintaining love from someone that you've been in a relationship with for 5 years. Those are two different things, right? Somebody that just met you, they don't love you. They ain't got no reason to be loyal to you. That's so that first stage, what you're bringing to the table as a human being. And I'm not just talking about money. Money's part of it because money affects how comfortable and stable a person feels. If they feel like you ain't gonna bring nothing but a bunch of money problems in their life, they may not want to be with you.
But people who here's the thing. I think a lot of people who have money problems, some of them, they just feel like I'm not worth anything unless I spend a whole bunch of money on these material stuff. I'm not worth anything unless I can give some. I'm only good to a person based on how much money I can just give them. You know what I mean? Right. They have no other use for me other than what I can do for them in terms of money. Whatever it is that you put themselves, you put emphasis on.
I agree. I think there's always
you can understand that you could bring just yourself to the table, and yourself is good enough.
Right, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I agree that yourself.
I'm talking about self-worth.
Don't get me wrong. I agree that yourself is always worth something, right? Every human life is valuable because you're human, right? But if a woman's got a choice between two men, and one man says, okay, I'm gonna nurture you, I'm gonna love you, I'm gonna support you, I'm a sturdy man, I work hard every day, I'm intelligent, I'm gonna be the best I can be, and I got $1,000,000 in the bank. And the other man says, well, I ain't got no money, I got 100,000 in debt, I might beat you and cuss you out every now and then, and I ain't showing up with nothing but dick. Like, that's all I'm bringing, me and my penis, that's it. Like, that second man is not gonna win the competition.
Let me tell you, both of them could lose. You could go to a third person. Like,
I'm talking
they all,
hypothetical on average.
You're talking hypothetical. I get that, and I do understand that money, like having resources. Well, I'm gonna call it resources. Like having resources and being resourceful is important. All those things are important, but it's an extension of who you are. Because even if you have $1,000,000, you could still be $1,000,000 in debt. You could still be giving everything away and doing things. You know what I mean?
Don't get me wrong.
Because individuals who put so much worth on how much money they have and how much money they can provide for other. Hold on, I'm not done. Provide for other people. Those people go broke. Because they feel like I'm only good enough based on how much money I can pass out.
Never once did I say that money makes a man into a quality man.
Okay. I just want to
never
bring
once
that out
did I
there.
say that money.
Okay.
I know a lot of rich men who are
terrible.
who would be absolute nightmares in somebody's life. Like, seriously, like I know rich guys who have fucked 3,000 women and they have all kinds of diseases.
Stay away from them.
They have addictions. They have all kinds of nonsense that would bring it. So I'm not saying money by itself.
Okay. All right.
I'm saying all else equal, the person that can be secure, not just financially. The financial security is like I can provide financial security. I don't need anybody's validation to know that I can do that, right? But my ability to provide financial security is merely a manifestation of all the other parts of me as a man that shape how I carry myself. You understand? So a man's values and how he lives and the choices he makes, that does make him a better man. I'm sorry, you can't have some guy that didn't do people who do the work deserve the benefit. Doing the work means working on yourself, making yourself better, bringing something good to the table. People who do the work should not be treated the same as the people who didn't do the work. So they're not the same.
Okay.
Sure, the guy who didn't do any work, the guy who don't give a shit about you, yeah, he's valuable. He deserves all the love in the world, but he gonna get that love from his mama. Because if he's trying to date my daughter,
maybe get it from his mother. We don't know.
Right, maybe. But I agree. And if he has a broken inner child that's causing him to be a man who ain't worth shit, then he needs to go fix that with a therapist. But when you're talking about engaging in the partnership of dating, of trying to go through life with a partner, you need somebody that's done the work.
You do. I definitely don't want to be in a relationship with a loser. I don't want to be in a relationship, always something happening with that person. Money is just an extension of poor choices that you make in your life. And so you do want somebody that's similar. But at the same time, you do want someone you can build with. Like, we're building a lot of stuff together.
Yeah. I mean, So
we can work together and build
I think that
stuff.
where we agree is that every human being is valuable, and there is somebody.
Everybody's valuable.
There is somebody for everybody, right?
Yes.
But remember, I'm an economist, and my bias is that I see everything as a market. So I see dating as a market, just like a job market. If you go in and or like the supermarket, if you go in and you apply for a job, and you say, and they say, okay, well, what do you have? What do you bring it to the table and what do you expect? And the person says, well, I don't have any experience. I almost finished my GED and I only want to work 5 hours a week, but I expect you to pay me $1,000,000 a year. That person is probably not going to get the job most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, just out of touch with reality. But the thing is,
right. Well, let me finish the analogy though.
Okay.
And then what happens is you have people like that approach dating in the same way. They don't bring nothing to the table. They act a complete ass. They bring drama and trauma into people's lives. And then they say, well, why are people walking away from me? All these men ain't shit, or all these women ain't shit.
Well, we talked about that, right?
Right. And I would say to those people, what are you doing the work? That's it. There's people that do the work and people that don't. I want to be with somebody who does the work. You do the work. Let me just list quickly the areas where you do the work that made a huge difference for me in my decision to want to get on my knee to propose to you in front of 1,000,000 people and get clowned, get called a simp and all. I didn't give a shit because I said this woman is worth it. Here's where you did the work. First of all, you work drop dead gorgeous, but just to be quite honest, I've met a lot of pretty black women through the years.
For sure.
Just the physical is not enough to make me commit my life to a woman. It never has been. You also are highly educated. I saw you bust your ass to get your PhD. Only 1% of the general population has a PhD. Even the percentage is even lower for black people. I admire that. I admire an intelligent black woman who is able to accomplish things because that's a person who has toughness. Like I never wanted to, they have the stereotypes about the AKs being the pretty girls who were the debutantes, and the Deltas are like the hardworking, like I'll go in the trenches with you, like like I'll go get in the mud and pull out a gun. I don't know if it holds or not, but I'm gonna tell you, just based on the stereotypes, I didn't want an AK, I wanted a Delta. No disrespect, really? No disrespect to the AKs out here, but
but you dated AKs.
I did, but I wanted to marry a Delta-minded woman. Where, and I know I'm gonna get I'm gonna get so much shit from my AKA friends, but seriously, like I didn't want the debutante who was gonna leave me, if the money get dried up or
I was a debutante, by the
bail
way.
out when things get hard. Right? I wanted I wanted to be next to a tough woman who could go to war with me as a black man, who is, as you mentioned, gonna stand with me through thick and thin, through rain, sleet, snow, and hail, help me solve problems, help me figure it out, help me overcome adversity, etc. Right? And so, the other thing that you did in terms of where you did the work, your kids are wonderful. You managed and maintained them really well. You did not have a messy life.
My life was not messy.
Right, your ex-husband is a wonderful guy. I can call him directly and have a conversation on the phone with him, and you not even know we talk, because he's that cool. And we raise these kids together. We protect these children as a unit, as a group, right? It ain't no silly baby daddy drama. There was no chaos as far as children that were out of line and out of whack. You took care of yourself financially. You are a runner. So I know a lot of women who are beautiful in their 20s and 30s, and then they let themselves go. Now they get 45 or 50. They're not looking that good. You look great. You look extraordinary. I like that. I like things that are pleasing to the eye. You cook for me. So overall, and then also you being a therapist was beneficial because, we could work through our bullshit together. Right. So I personally think that, if I'm going to say this, as valuable as you are, and as gorgeous as I think you are,
yes,
if you had shown up and had not done the work, like let's say your kids were out of control, your baby daddy crazy, you got three baby daddies, three crazy baby daddies. I gotta carry a gun just to have a conversation with. Your money's all messed up. You're doing terrible things to your body and to your life. I would have said, I'm gonna love you from a distance. You are worthy. You are valuable. You are precious, but you're not for me.
Yeah, I agree. Love is not enough. Definitely, when you get married to somebody. Love is necessary, but it is definitely not enough. But all the things that you named that you valued in me, which I appreciate, by the way, those were things that was just me. It was just how I was living my life and the things that I was doing. And it was based on it wasn't like I was trying to become these things to get a man. I just want to make that clear, because it sounded as if you were saying earlier that you have to embody these things in order to get a man. So I wasn't trying to have money and do all these things that you just eloquently described. My whole purpose in doing that wasn't so that I can get a man. My purpose of doing that was just that I wanted to be the best of me. Just me.
Well,
just following my purpose in life.
Whatever you did it for, whoever you did it for.
I was just being Alicia.
I will just say, I agree, but I think generally speaking, to just be ready for the world, I encourage people to just do the damn work. That's it. Do the work, man.
But even if you aren't as accomplished, because it took time for me to get to where I am.
I'm not saying everybody should have a PhD. I'm not saying that.
But whatever your version of that is going to be, even though it takes time, like as you're building, you can build with another person. You don't have to have it all together first before you get into a relationship. I know a lot of men feel that way. A lot of men feel, oh, I'm not going to date this woman until I get my money right. Well, no, this woman is ready to strap up and y'all work together for it. I just don't, like, a lot of men have that false interpretation that a good woman is only going to have value in you if your money is right. Men, I don't think so. I think a lot of women will see the potential in you and will want to build with you and be teammates with you. I know a lot of women would be down for you, no
I
matter
agree,
what.
but you know what I compare that to?
And I think it's so romantic, by the way.
I agree, and I think that's how women feel. I've heard
It's
a lot of
cute.
I've heard a lot of women say that.
Yeah.
And you know what it reminds me of though? It reminds me of like when I do Zoom meetings with female people that work for me.
Okay.
A lot of times we'll do a Zoom and they'll have their camera off, and I'll say, "Why is your camera off?" And she'll say, "Because I look a mess." And I'll say, "Well, it's okay. I don't care. Like, like it won't bother me what you look like. Like, we're just having a meeting. Like, it doesn't, whatever." And they'll still be like, "No, I'm
Well,
not."
they don't feel comfortable.
Right,
That's okay.
right. That's what I mean. So a lot of men don't feel comfortable. I know as a man, I did not feel comfortable trying to move forward with a family and a relationship when my financial situation was not where I needed it to be.
I know.
I
Men
just
feel that way.
It didn't matter how it didn't matter how the women felt. It was how I felt. Right.
I understand.
And also, I would say,
so there is a disconnect between what men think makes them worthy to be in a relationship and what women really seek out. Right, there is somewhat of a disconnect. It's not like, to say that I'm sitting around here waiting for him to make his move. He probably don't like me, and he does like you. He just feels like he don't have his life together yet. No,
man. Let's make it clear. When I was broke, I had relationships. I just didn't want to do marriage and family because I was an entrepreneur.
Well, I had some thoughts about that.
I did not want the complications of dealing with, because women are a lot of work. Y'all bring shit.
But we're worth it, boys.
You are worth it for sure. But women bring a lot of stuff to the table every day, and sometimes as a man, you like, leave me alone. I don't, So ultimately, it's like that. But let me just explain though. I have relationships, but sometimes you want low maintenance situations because you focus on something else. And when I was an entrepreneur working 14 hours a day, I didn't really need to have somebody in my ear saying, "You're hurting me because it's been 2 days and you haven't called me." Yeah, so I didn't want it. I didn't want all that. I wanted low maintenance scenarios. I got married because I had already accomplished a lot of my goals, and I felt like I wanted marriage to be my new goal. But I had already achieved, like I already made my first $1 million. I'd already done some other things.
The thing is you do need that balance in your life. You can't just be all about work. And the thing is that when you're in a relationship, that's a side of yourself that needs to get developed. So the person that you get into the relationship with, they're going to challenge you. And I think that's what you were kind of shying away from. And I have theories about why you did that. I won't go into
whatever.
Hold on, I didn't finish.
It don't matter.
It
was my life, my choice.
Of course.
And I wasn't gonna let nobody tell me that what I need to do.
Of course. But of course, it's always like that, Boyce. That's a really good answer. The thing is that what your mate is challenging you to do is your mate is challenging you in a way because you picked this person. Okay. So your mate is challenging you in a way for you to grow. And we know in order to grow and to develop into a better person, you cannot do that alone.
But I thought you said people should just love each other based on who they are. So what if I don't want to grow? What if I just want to sit here and in my drawers play Xbox and smoke my blunt and just kick it? And I don't want, seriously.
So you're in arrested development. And earlier I made the point to say you developed that part of yourself. So I really I just want to say publicly that I love how you are developing into this wonderful husband of mine. It is a development thing. So you didn't start where you started. It's different from where you are right now, Boyce, from when we started dating to now. You are a different person because you are developing this thing. And in order for you to develop into the wonderful husband that you are right now, ever becoming more wonderful, by the way, that is going to take work and pressure. Right. It's going to take you the stretch.
Exactly.
Hold on a second.
And you got to
hold on. It's going to take you to stretch.
Right. And what I'm saying to you is that I had to be interested in even stretching that way. Like there's a lot of shit I could do if I wanted to do it. No, it wasn't frightening. No, it wasn't frightening. I'm a thinker. I'm a studier. When I want to be good at something, I take pride in being the best at it. But if I don't want to do that thing, or if I'm doing something else, then I won't do it. Like I'm sure I could go to school and become a great historian. I just don't have time to go get a PhD in history.
The thing is that when you get into a relationship and you have to grow in that way, sometimes it can be really scary.
It wasn't scary. I wasn't scared. I'm not scared.
No.
Things don't scare me that much. I practice not being afraid of things.
Okay.
So I would say it was really about the stage of my life.
Uh-huh.
I made adjustments in this marriage that I was willing to make at 48 that I would not have been willing to make at 38 or 28.
Okay.
And that's because at 38, I was thinking about 38. I was thinking about getting off the corporate plantation, quitting my job, and making some money. And I had relationships. I dated women, but I was not in the market for marriage. And I think it's okay for women
Yeah,
to
it is
say that
okay. It is okay.
without being pathologized, without
Well, we're
somebody
not
without somebody saying, oh well, the reason you're not ready for marriage is because you're not mature, or because of this, I didn't care what the reason was. I just didn't want to do it, and I wasn't gonna let anybody pressure me into a decision that I wasn't ready to make.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. All of that 100%. I totally agree. Um, so it wasn't scary for you, because sometimes it can be. I use the word afraid, but at the same time, we all desire closeness. We all desire to be close to somebody. That's an innate in all of us. We desire to have somebody really love us, and someone we can be totally connected to. All of us have that desire. And that's why people are asking about online dating. That's why people are asking about, at 21, how can I find my mate, or whatever age it is, from the time that you are 0 years old to the time that you are as old as you can be. You always are going to want that connection, Boyce.
I think and I certainly agree with
And
that.
not, yeah.
I think those connections are valuable. And one thing I can say, and this is just to justify or to connect with those men and women who are choosing not to get married, is that just because you ain't married don't mean you ain't got connections with people.
Okay.
Like I
It
had,
could be. Yes.
believe me,
Yes.
I had my connections. Like I was able to find my bliss, at every stage of my life, because I chose to be a blissful person. I knew how. I had self-awareness. I knew how to make myself happy, and I wasn't afraid to go get what I wanted.
Yeah.
So what happened with me was, it happened at 45, where I was like, okay, I've already accomplished some of these other things that I really wanted to do, and now I'm not worried about being distracted. Whereas if I had gotten married at 25 or 30, I would have felt the type of resentment over the fact that I didn't get a chance to fulfill some of my professional goals, because I'm focused on all the energy it takes to raise kids and have a spouse. So I would suggest to anybody, if you're not ready to get married, don't do it, because it's going to be a full-time job.
Okay, it won't. It will. You can, but I just want to say, you can be an entrepreneur, you can be married, and you can have children all at the same time.
You can.
You just have to have you have to be willing to take on that sort of thing, and to take on a spouse, is going to require you to grow in some ways.
I do agree.
And that can be frightening for some people. Not for you, of course. It wasn't scary for you because you made that point, but it can be.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It can be scary. I think anything you do that's anything you do that's as complicated as this, it's gonna take a lot of your attention. And I think that what mistake I've seen with a lot of people is they try to do 2 or 3 complicated things at once. So you're trying to go and you're trying to hustle and work as hard. You're a married man, you're trying to work as hard as a single man does. That's really hard to do. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's hard to do. Because when I was single, I had no boundaries on how hard I could work. I could work 14 hours a day. I could work all night long, not talk to another human being for 2 weeks if I wanted to, just so I could focus on my work. If I did that as a married man, people would say I was a terrible husband.
Yeah, and so where's the personal growth in that? I mean, there's a personal growth in your ability to accomplish all of the things that you want to accomplish, but also in a relationship, that is where you can grow in some ways, where you can put it down and say, there's another part of me that I want to develop, and that is your innate desire to really be seen by somebody and loved and heard and all of that wonderful things.
I agree
of a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I think that women are relational, and relationships matter a little bit more to women than men. I do believe that.
I don't know.
But you know what?
I think that they're just as important for men. I just think that men probably reject it because it may challenge them in a way where it could be uncomfortable for them. Or maybe men and women, but deep down inside, they really do want it.
Or maybe men and women are just different in how they go about getting what they want, right? Okay. Like remember that Chris Rock movie when he was having woman problems and was messing up his work, and his boss came in and said, you can lose a lot of money chasing women, but you'll never lose women chasing money.
Okay.
And so he was saying, go get the money, and then after you get the money, the women will always be there.
Yeah, but look at Chris Rock now.
Like, well, that was in the movie.
He didn't take
but
his
that
own.
that was in the movie, and I think obviously there's more variables to consider. But the thing was, I'm saying at 33, you know, I did not feel unhappy with the life I had. It wasn't like I have 33-year-old female friends though who are like, my clock is ticking, I gotta have a baby, I can't meet a man, or this relationship's going nowhere. I never had a relationship that was like 6 weeks and said, damn, that was such a waste of time.
Okay.
You know, I never felt that way. I'd be like, yeah, it was cool. Okay, but there's more fish in the sea. You move on. I'm sowing my oats. This is life, right?
But you didn't miss them. I mean, you didn't have a relationship with people, and then it was over, and then you kind of missed them a little bit.
Absolutely, every time.
Yeah, that's
every time, right. Yeah. And you can't have, you know, in this world, the world we live in,
and you
can't date 80 people at one time or 20 people at once, right? You have to date people sequentially, right, in order for it to be socially acceptable. But my point is to say that there's no one size fits all rule for happiness. And so the marriage box can be happiness for some people, but it's not happiness for everybody.
Okay, I think that, okay, you say the marriage box. There's nothing wrong with the marriage box. There's something wrong with the people in the marriage box, you know? So I think the marriage box is a great opportunity for you to be deeply connected and deeply have that deep intimacy that everybody wants. You know, that marriage box is an opportunity to develop that. And it's the people in it that need to be willing to do that, you know, willing to ask for what they need and to have hard conversations with people and to grow into that intimacy. That's an opportunity in that marriage box.
Yeah, I think marriage can be, and marriage to me is like a lot of other things, right? It's like a, you know, it's like any other tool that exists in this world, like a mutual fund. You know, a mutual fund can be a great investment vehicle for some people, but it's the absolute worst vehicle for other people who have different investment needs or different investment preferences, right? So marriage can be a great tool for building, you know, success, power, happiness, fulfillment.
Oh, absolutely.
All these things, right?
Yes.
But for some people, marriage is just a terrible idea. You know, almost any type of marriage with anyone, because they're not built for that, right? So I personally think
not built for marriage.
Yeah, I think because
interesting.
Yeah, because I talked to a young guy who's polyamorous. And he said, I have 3 women. And he said, I've never felt more like a man. He said it comes with its challenges, but he said, if I was married to one woman, monogamy is too hard, and I would get shamed and attacked and beat up on for sleeping with other women. So I like it. He said, I like my situation because all the women know about each other, and we're all sort of able to get that sexual stuff out of the way so we can focus on actually having a healthy relationship that doesn't have the complications that a lot of marriages have.
Okay. Yeah. So I question whether I would like to talk to that person. Not that I'm against polyamory, because whatever people do, but I would wonder what type of trauma and situations are in their background.
Well, but remember,
and that sometimes maybe that is their way of dealing with some of those hard sort of things. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
That could be true, but also you can say that about people who feel the need to be married. Right? Trauma? No. Remember, we can't normalize one choice and then make all other choices abnormal, right? I think if you're gonna, again, I think that if we're gonna stigmatize a person that makes a choice,
I wasn't stigmatizing. I'm just like explaining, explaining how something like that could be attractive. And I don't want to demonize the polyamorous community, because I think there's some good stuff that happens there, and but I also think that in order to be married, it's going to take you to develop. And so in a way where if you have that sort of trauma, you're totally freaked out about it. It scares people and it freaks some people out. That's all I'm going to say.
And clearly it's not for everybody, because that's why you have such a high divorce rate and so many people.
Yeah, I would love to dig into a lot of that.
And then there's a lot of people. I'd say half of all married couples that stay married are not really married. They're just pretending.
That's right. You know what they're doing? They are making a mockery of marriage, having a marriage just to be just a legal thing, a piece of paper. I think we need to get away from that, because marriage, it really is different than that.
Right. Okay. So Juanita Miller says the president's about to make it mandatory for all federal employees to get the shot.
Yeah. So what?
Yeah.
Here's my thing.
No. No. There's a lot of people that work for the government or government contractors.
Yes, I know.
So it does affect a lot of people.
Yes, I know. Yes, yeah. I know. Boyce, I am totally 100% saying yes. So the thing is that there's always going to be something. There's always going to be something to freak out about. There's always going to be something, you need to do this and you need to do that. And it just, when I say so what to that, it's just like, I'm not going to change my whole life just because there's this mandate
I
to
agree.
Do something.
Now,
and
I
you know what I mean?
I'm
just not going to be
I agree now,
manipulated.
But remember, we're privileged though, right?
Yes.
Like we don't have to change our life, but there are some people out here who need those jobs.
Yeah,
right?
So they need the jobs.
So at the convention, we're gonna talk about. We're actually having Rizza Islam and a lot of other people that are gonna come through and really talk about that, because a lot of people are losing their jobs over this shot. And I think that's so. It's not just really how we feel, right? It's also.
What I'm commenting on is just things in the media in general. I'm just talking about all of these announcements are going to be made. Things are going to be made and said. I'm looking at it on a different level, Boyce. Okay. Right. I'm just looking at it on a level where it's whatever that comes out that's going to scare us next. Coronavirus is going to frighten you. Oh, can I say that? I don't know if I can say that. Whatever it is, things are going to scare you and frighten you. Just going to be forever and a day. All of these things is just going to keep you in this constant state of being petrified. And I say you know how I feel about just resistance. Why resist anything? Just not be operating in a sense that is a sense of fear.
Yeah, that's an area where we are very different.
We are very different because I see things on a different
level.
I
will fight your ass to the end of the day if you messing with me.
So yeah, but in the fight.
Let's comment. Del Monte Green Bean says marriage is the worst thing a man can do in America. These courts will send your pockets to the sun.
Okay, so that is somebody who's definitely been injured in a way. And so the thing is it's not the marriage that's the issue again. It really is the people. And he'd be a really good person that should probably hit me up. I'd like to talk to him more about how he came to that conclusion and what is it that hurt him. He sounds like somebody who's been hurt.
Or maybe somebody, or maybe the risk just doesn't work for him. Like I got a message yesterday from a friend of mine who's a woman who's very wealthy, who said that she's really upset because her husband wants $10,000 a month in alimony. And she's just pissed off about it, and I think that it's I do agree with you that the people obviously matter, right? But at the same time, I do see people who make the logical decision to say, I'm not signing that contract that's going to give somebody the right to have my money. And I don't knock it, because remember, you and I did a prenup. And if you have been broke, like completely broke and financially devastated when we got married, it's not to say I wouldn't have married you because I love you to death, but it would have given me another variable to consider, because if I felt like you were a person who's going to need a bunch of alimony or need me to take care of you for years after the marriage, it would just be a factor I'd have to consider. I wouldn't just act like it didn't matter,
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I don't know. The prenup needed to happen because I have children from another relationship. So that needed to happen. I needed to protect my children. So
right.
That was it. And then you got a business that you have to protect. But outside of that, I wouldn't have signed a prenup.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. But that's another story.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, guys, we're about to go eat breakfast. So
are we still gonna go? You want to go?
Yeah, let's go eat.
Okay,
I'm hungry now. All right, everybody. So Alicia's website, and you can follow her on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. That's right there on the top. And so feel free to go check out her stuff. Take a second, if you could, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Please do that. And thank you for your great questions. It was great talking to you.
This was fun.
And yeah. We'll do some more pillow talks in the near future. And we decided, since we didn't have a busy schedule today, I was like, why not get on the internet and just hang out with our friends for a little while? So it was great talking to everybody, and please have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.